How to deliver speeches. I've been attending Toastmasters. It's an organization to be a better public speaker. So what we do is we deliver speeches every week. These can be table topics, which impromptu speeches. We have 1 to 2 minutes to answer the question that our fellow club member, who is called the table topics master, has decided to ask us, and we have a couple seconds to answer. And then we have prepared speeches where we pick our topic, we pick the theme, and we prepare for the speech. It could be a week in advance, it could be a day, it could be a month. It's up to you. In this video, I'm going to mention 3 ways for you to deliver your speech. And some of them I've used more than others, and I'll explain some of the positives and drawbacks of each method. So the first one is just choosing a topic and speaking off the dome. That has the advantage of, if you know a topic, then you can speak about it no matter what. For example, if somebody asks me about app development, that's something that I don't have to prepare for. I can just speak on that. There are some topics that you're able to speak on. For example, your life, you're the only person who really knows your life. So if somebody asks you to tell them about your life, then you should be able to speak off the dome and say what it is that you want to say about that. Now, there are a lot of disadvantages with doing just a topic. The biggest one is if you don't know your topic, then it's going to be really, really bad speech. If you just have a topic in mind while you're delivering the speech, because there's going to be time requirements, there's a lot of things you may forget to mention that you thought were really important for people to know. It's because you have to keep track of time. And as you're speaking, you add things that you weren't aware. Like, for example, I'm adding things because right now I'm actually using the second method, which I'm going to explain soon. One of the ways to make this better, if you do go that route, I don't really recommend it unless you really know the topic well. So if somebody asks, oh, who can do this? Then you can do that. One thing though you could do to help you greatly, it's just something shared by Maxwell Waltz in Psycho-Cybernetics, which is just imagining how people are going to feel at the end of your speech. That's something that I've done and it actually worked really, really well. I imagine the reaction. I didn't write down my speech. I did have some ideas in mind. I knew what the topic was, and I imagined people's reaction to the speech. And that actually occurred the same way. That was the first time that I had people come up to me and say, this speech was very inspirational. Like, I want to do something better with my life. So that did help. That's if you want to go that route. Now the second route, which is the one I like the most, the one I use the most, is writing down very simple bullet points. For instance, before delivering this, I wrote the intro, like very 1 sentence intro, the 3 things that I'm going to be speaking about, and then the outro. So this allows you to have some kind of structure to your speech while still being a lot of freestyling, so that you can just deliver things that you want to do. There are some disadvantages, just like the previous one, which is sometimes there are details that you may forget to mention. In this speech though, like the general ideas you do get to mention because you wrote it down. You're like, okay, I have 3 topics. I want to make sure that I speak on those. So those you're for sure going to get. The details between those topics you may not get, especially time, because you may have to look at time, make sure that you're not going too long with each topic, with each point, which is one of the main reasons why you may forget a detail, which has happened to me. The greatest advantage, to be honest, is that you're kind of speaking off the dome, yet you still have some kind of structure where your speech makes sense. Now, the last one is really the what you should be doing, not what you should be doing. It's a really prepared speech. That's you write your speech and you practice it. Now, that one has a lot of advantages. It you have you can structure your speech really really well, make sure everything flows well. By practicing it, you can figure out how it flows, and you can make sure to include all the details that you want people to get from your speech. Now, this one actually doesn't have too many disadvantages besides the time consumption of it. It can be, at least for me, it can be difficult to write a speech because it leads to, for me, it leads to procrastination. Like, I start writing it and I keep seeing that the speech is bad, and so I rewrite and I'm like, I don't know what to do. That is the struggle I have with prepared speeches. That being said, from seeing the success a friend of mine has had with her prepared speeches, she's beaten me multiple times. If you're watching this, thank you for the inspiration, because you've beaten me anytime we've went head to head. And the possible reason why she beats me is because she has her speech prepared. Like, she structures everything, she practices, she makes sure that timing is there so that she doesn't have to really worry about, at least at Toastmasters, we have timing requirements. So we have something called a timer who will show us when we're about to hit our time limits. Moving forward, the lesson I'm taking from this is, for me personally, is to do more prepared speeches and to still use the other methods. So, which is writing down the second one, which is writing down main points and kind of freestyling. And the first one is just having a topic and just speaking up on it. Like, those are good. They're important because there's different situations for them. The prepared speech is something that I have to implement more, especially with videos, because this is something that I will deliver to a lot of people. It's best if it's structured, which this video used a second method. And like I said, there's some advantages where I did get the main points out, but the speech itself was not fully coherent. It didn't flow A, B, C. It kind of sometimes went like this. And those are some of the advantages and disadvantages of the 3 speech methods. How do you deliver your speech? Have you delivered any speeches? If you haven't, you definitely should, even if it's just to an audience of 1. It's important to be able to communicate your ideas to people. That's how the humans move, through sharing ideas. Let me know if this was helpful.